Hi, this is Rod Meldrum, the Book of Mormon evidence guy, and I'm excited about inviting you to one of our most exciting. This is a brand new tour for us this year. I'm here with Kris Kimball with Legacy Tours and Travel.
Yes.
And we wanted to kind of work out a new
we've talked about this for a couple of years. We finally merged it and put it together because I think this will be one of my most exciting tours because I'm big into traditions, and usually I'm over in Europe, you know, getting into traditions over there with the Knights Templar and what happens to Jesus and the Holy Family and all of that. But this is taking us to American history and what is bringing these histories here. So we're going to be overlapping Book of Mormon history,
several histories,
church history, the Pilgrims, Columbus, but we're also going to be adding Knights Templar history. And you might be going, what? Knights Templar? I didn't learn that in school. And so we're going to explore the traditions that are tied to the Knights Templar and the idea that they were actually here in America before Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
Okay? So it's going to be, if you're somebody that likes to really dive into history and the mysteries that we weren't ever taught in school, then this is a tour for you, especially if you're an explorer. So I'm just going to go over a few of the things that we'll see that I know Rod hasn't been to himself, but
there's a couple of these I haven't been to. I've been to most of them, but there's some that only Kris knows about.
Yes.
And it's going to be so fun to have her be able to share some of her amazing research and information on this.
Yeah, so we Rosslyn Chapel, for those of you that have heard any of that, was built by the Sinclair family, and there's actually evidence of Henry Sinclair, who would have been a grandfather of William Sinclair, coming over into the New World in the late 14th century. Okay, and so we're talking about a period of time that predates Columbus, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But we will visit Westford, Massachusetts, which is where there is an effigy of a Knights Templar right in the sidewalk on Westford, on the way to the school that's nearby. And it's encased, it's protected, but this is thought to be, his name is Sir James Gunn, and he is thought to be one of the lieutenant and warrior of this Henry Sinclair. So he is left because he died. He died with a skirmish with the Indians there, and so they left this effigy mound of him. Henry Sinclair did. We're going to explore that. We're also going to be going to the library nearby where they have an actual boat stone that has engravings of what the boats would have looked like coming into that particular area.
Before Columbus.
Before Columbus, yes. This is what's really interesting. And the reason why we know it's before Columbus is if you've been to Rosslyn Chapel, especially on one of our tours, you actually see carvings inside of Rosslyn Chapel of maize, corn. Rosslyn Chapel was constructed in 1444, So they had the idea of maize, aloe vera, a few plants that are only found in North America and not over there in England, especially Scotland. And so you've got this idea, where did they learn about these plants? Yeah. And this is a good 50 years before Columbus made his voyage. So that's part of it. We're going to be exploring all of the Knights Templar traditions that are in the New England area. We've got the Newport Tower that's in Rhode Island. We've got the Narragansett Rune stone that's right there near the Newport Tower. So we've got those sites to visit. We're also going
to New York.
Well, you might not know this, but there's a Stonehenge in America.
That's right, the American Stonehenge.
The American Stonehenge
that's right.
in New Hampshire. We are going to make a visit and see exactly what is attached to Stonehenge, that particular site, American Stonehenge here. And then we hit New York.
Yes.
And in New York, believe it or not, we are going to be talking about early American history.
Yeah.
And some of you may be going, wait, that happened in Boston. That happened in... No, New York is
Most
where
of it happened in,
George Washington took his oath of office at Federal Hall.
Yeah. And then also at the St. Paul Cathedral, which we're going to be talking about. And if you've seen a lot of my research involving the 9/11 attacks and that kind of thing, the St. Paul Cathedral is so pivotal to understand the symbolism of those attacks and why this was the place where George Washington invoked a covenant with God, which is we call this the covenant tour, right? The American covenant tour, because this is where we get into the covenant. This covenant that has been established from the days of Adam and Eve all the way through to the Book of Mormon and the Jaredites, and then later on. And the last person to actually invoke this covenant with God on America was George Washington there in New York.
At St. Paul's
At St. Paul's Cathedral. So we're going to go see that.
Yeah, so that's a huge site, and as with what Rod has just talked about. And he mentioned other people who have been here. We are going to be exploring the Pilgrims. So we will be in Massachusetts. We go to Plymouth Rock. That's where they evoked the Pilgrims Compact. And we also are going to visit the National Monument.
The National Monument, yes. Yeah.
That's just right near Plymouth Rock. And so we're going to be exploring that. And then we drop down into the Boston, Massachusetts area, and we are going out into Concord and Lexington, where the Revolutionary War, we had the first casualties of the actual war happening on those grounds.
And for me, I'm excited about seeing again. I took my family to Philadelphia before. If you haven't been to Philadelphia, it is just so amazing to see the places where these great founding fathers were assembling together and hashing out things that ended up becoming the Constitution of the United States. I love seeing the Liberty Bell.
Yes.
Liberty Bell it's awesome to see that and know the story behind it. But we're going to be covering those kinds of histories there in New York.
We'll be going to all of those main historical sites that are tied into the history that's there in Philadelphia, and then from there, we are also going to be from the New York area and in the Pennsylvania area. We're going to be going church history this time. Mm-hmm. But we will be in Harmony.
That's right, which we've never done before. I've been there to these sites before, but we've never. It adds about another 2 or 3 days to go all the way up there to our regular tours. So I'm excited about having. If you've been on one of my other tours previously, come on this one and get that first part of it there. You see the monument to Joseph Smith's birthplace and things there. It's just phenomenal. Right,
yeah, because we do visit Sharon, Vermont on the front end of the tour, but in Harmony, especially it's about 30 miles south of Colesville, New York, which is on the bottom border of New York State. But Colesville, if any of you have done any church history research, we're going to find out what made those Colesville Saints so rock solid in their testimony.
Yeah, and then while we're there, we're going to also be able to stop by two homes of some of the early members of the church. Yeah. Yes, and that's going to be Josiah Stoll and also Joseph Knight.
Right.
Their two homes, actually, surprisingly, they are owned by personal friends of mine, Steve and Pat Glenn. And Steve has since passed away, but Pat is actually helping to work it out so we can actually go there and be there. But they've helped to restore these homes. And you'll be able to see the mantle, the actual mantle that Joseph Smith and Emma were married
in front of. Yeah,
it's
pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, and not too many people take the time to go to these two sites because they're really more out of the way.
Yeah.
So we're making sure that you get to the sites that most church history tours don't visit.
Yes.
And then from Harmony, we're going to be heading over to Ohio.
Yes. And from Ohio, we're basically going to be going to the Kirtland area. We're going to go see the Kirtland Temple and the Kirtland region there, which will be really fun to see all that. We'll see the new, just recently, the church purchased and then has done a restoration on Joseph and Emma's home right next to the Kirtland Temple there. So we'll be able to see that. Then we're going to be going through historic Kirtland and going through the church history there. So much history in Kirtland that the Lord and God both appeared there more than almost any other place anywhere on earth.
So many revelations took place in Kirtland.
Yeah, so we're going to be going through all that. Then we're going to be focusing, come down a little bit more further into Ohio and talking about the Ohio Hopewell sites. This is Book of Mormon related stuff. This is the land bountiful in the Book of Mormon. We're going to talk all about the Great Circle and the Great Octagon. We're going to stop at Hopewell Culture National Historical Park and the fact that they just recently, in fact, just this last year, these sites became UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
Oh,
They've
wow.
been after that for about 25 years now, and they finally just got that. So that puts them on the same kind of a footing as the Great Wall of China, the Taj Mahal, and other, the Pantheon and other places, where that are historic world history sites.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to be going there. and last, but Serpent Mound.
Yes, I was going to say Serpent Mound, my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes, largest animal effigy mound in the world.
Yes.
And I've been on tours with other researchers that get into the Egyptian theology and history, and they all make a point of visiting Serpent Mound. They realize how important that is.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of times people don't realize who the serpent represents. And we're not going to tell you who it is. You have to come on the tour to find out. Yeah. But most of the time, people guess it wrong.
Right.
I'll just say that.
I would say so.
All right. Then we're going to stop off at Fort Ancient and see some of the ancient fortifications of the Hopewell mound builder people, who we believe to be the remnant, or the remnants of the Nephites civilization of the Book of Mormon there. And then we're going to do another little departure from what we've done before, because I really love this. We're going to go to the Ark, Noah's Ark, the Ark encounter.
I'm so excited.
We've always gone all around it, but we couldn't quite get a tour to figure out how to get it there. This one we're going to do it. So if you haven't been to the Noah's Ark that's been out there, the full-size thing, it's an amazing place. I mean, they have literally, it's become one of the biggest attractions in the Midwestern part of the United States for people to come and see the Noah's Ark.
I'm excited
exhibits.
about that. Yes. I went online to do a little dive into that, and was like, oh my goodness.
People walk away from that and they go, wow, that was amazing. Okay. And then after that, we come home.
That wraps up our tour. We finish with the Ark, and then we're done. So
this is going to be the best tour ever.
There's several periods of history that you get in one tour.
Yeah.
This is not anything you find anywhere else. So join us in September for our Sacred Histories American Covenant Tour. You can get signed up at legacytoursandtravel.com or call us at 801-683-0123. A $300 deposit is all you need to hold your seat. We usually have special airfare. If you want to be part of our group airfare, let us know when you sign up. But we would love to have you explore all these different sacred sites that we're going to take you to, that tie into the idea of America being the covenant land.
Yes, and Kris, I am so excited that you're taking the time to come with us on this tour. As I've gotten to know Kris more over the years, she just is a wealth of information about all these kind of things, especially if you want to know more about the family of Christ and some of those kind of things. You want to come on this tour.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Go ahead and sign up, and you can also if you're familiar with our website at bookofmormonevidence.org, just go to the Legacy Tours and Travel icon, click on that, and it'll take you right to the tours. Thanks. We'll see you on the tours.